Hello, this is a video demonstration of entering monthly operating data for groundwater systems that use chlorine as a disinfectant. This data is entered into the North Carolina Public Water Supply Section's web application for monthly operating reports. From the home screen, you can see the description and the purpose of this web application, which you will be able to input and edit data, submit data, and review or print your data. So I'd like to input my distribution residual measures for data, but you can see that it's grayed out for right now. That's because I have to make these 4 selections here first. I'm going to present the rest of this as if I'm an ORC and I've been delegated by the owner of a water system to input monthly data and submit the report for Southern Trace on his or her behalf. Before I can input my data, I need to select the month. I'm going to choose to enter February 2015. I've already entered January and I'm ready to enter February's data. As I mentioned, I'm going to enter the monthly data for Southern Trace subdivision. So for the system number and name, I select from a list and I see that I have been delegated to enter data for 4 different water systems, and so I'll choose Southern Trace. If you see that the system that you want to enter data for is not on your list here, then you need to contact that owner and make sure that they include you as a delegate or assign you as a delegate for that system. So for today, I'm going to choose a distribution report for this video demonstration purposes. All my systems only have one distribution system, so by default it's D01. So you don't really have a choice for step 4. But notice now that my input edit button, submit, and review print buttons are all active. Speaking of review and print, even though I'm entering February's data, I can, even at this point, go back and review data for the last month. So February is now the month that's available, but if I click back 1, I can see that all these are locked for January, meaning that it's already been submitted. Click review distribution data, and here's what was submitted last month. So now I can close this screen and go back and go to February, and I'm ready to input data for February. You can see as I click the button input that I have 3 steps that I need to complete in order to input this data. Step 1 is select the dates I want to enter. Step 2, enter the distribution data, and then the third and final step would be enter the monthly data. And then I'd be ready to submit it after going through those 3 steps. In step 1, you simply click the calendar dates that correspond to the ones in your field book. My system is required to have 3 distribution residual measures each week, and I typically visit the treatment plant for this on Monday afternoons and Friday mornings. So that's when I usually collect my distribution samples. I check my logbook and see that I've visited on these dates: Monday, Friday, Monday, Friday. And then I notice in my field book that I didn't visit on that Monday. I must have been sick or for some reason couldn't visit, so I took all 3 residuals on this Friday, and then Monday and Friday of this week. Notice that as you hover over these dates, it'll let you know click here to select or unselect this day. So at this point, while these are red check marks, you know, if I put the wrong day in and it was actually Thursday, then I can uncheck them and choose them at this point to be the correct date. Now that I have entered the dates that I visited for the month of February, I'm ready to enter the actual distribution data. So I click step 2. And I'll bring this down so you can see it. So I'll go ahead and start entering the data. So I'll enter the measures for February 2nd on that Monday. I visited site 007, which is at 109 Trace Avenue, and my residual measure was 0.09. Before I move on, let me explain how useful these question mark links are. If you click on each of these question marks, it gives an explanation for each of these headers. For example, for the location code, there should be a unique one according to your sample siting plan. and the address, of course, that's self-explanatory. Your MRT site. For this case, we're talking about a free chlorine water system, so need to collect those measures and need to record them as 0.00 through 9.99, and I did so. Notice I don't actually have to put the 0 ahead, but sometimes I do. You got 2 decimal places only, so I can't enter any more than 2 after the decimal. And I have sample number, just recording consecutive numbers of samples, no big deal. Date, collection. Adding a row. I can add a row, and I'm going to have to do that for Friday because I collected 2 measures. So add a row, and I'll demonstrate that. There's also the help feature here, which will pull up a separate document that'll show you how to enter the data. You can scroll through that yourself. Alright, so for Friday I actually collected 2 measures, so I'm going to add a row, and notice it added a second one for Friday the 6th. I'll enter collected at site 005, 102, Trace Avenue, and I recorded 0.08 residual. I'm going to go ahead and stop the presentation now and pause it and enter data so you don't have to watch me enter it all. And I visited on the last day of this month, site 007, which is 109 Trace Avenue, and my residual that day was 1. Note also that once you tab or press the arrow key or use the cursor to move to any other cell, that in this mode, in this input mode, everything is saved automatically as after it's entered, after you move to another cell. So if I enter this 1010 Trace Avenue and I press the tab key to move over, that in Trace Avenue is saved automatically. Alright, so I'm done. I press the X button. Notice there's no save again. You just press the X to get out of it. Now I'm ready to enter the monthly data. Step 3. I see that for the monthly data it already has defaulted to the February 2015, which was my chosen month and year, and the system I chose, Southern Trace, is listed. So is the distribution system D01. I need to choose for monthly data what distribution class this is, and it's a C distribution class. And then I have comments I could write. So I don't really have any notable comments, but I could write maybe not able to collect on February 16, so collected all 3 measures on the 20th. And save and return. This is one of the screens where you actually do save. There's no X button. It's not automatically saved. So press save and return. I've entered all my data, but I would like to review it before submitting it, because once I do submit my data, I can't go back and change it. It's submitted, it's locked, just like we did for January. Notice it's all locked. I can't get in there and enter any data for January. So, and you'll even see the submit is not active. So for February, I'm ready to submit, but I do want to look at it again. So I'll just go and look at it here, just make sure everything's as I wanted it. Press X to get out. We're good. I'm ready to submit. Get to the submit screen, and for this screen I'll enter my name, carbon dioxide, which you may recall from a radio show that used to be on. And now I enter my certification number, which is 75310. It already put my username in there, and I have to certify that I am a supplier of water, or I'm a representative. In this case, I'm a representative of the owner who's delegated me to enter data for February 2015 for this water system. And I'm ready to validate and submit. So I press validate and submit. Oh, but I get this validation error, a big red one here, that tells me I didn't click the, I didn't do something for the certification. And so, though, I see I didn't check the box. I check the box, and I'm ready to submit now. But it also gives me another warning and says that I need my certification number format's not correct. I look over here and I realize, oh, they put a placeholder of a 0. That's what I need to include. And so now it should be good. I'm ready to submit. And I validate. It says validation complete. Click submit and lock for final submission. So it's telling me one more chance, because after I submit and lock, I can't go back and enter anything. Let me cancel and return to show you, remind you that if I can review January's and see everything's locked, because that was a previous month and it was submitted. So now I'm ready to submit, and it's active. February's, I got to enter the date again. Put the 0 in this time, 5310. I certify, validate and submit. Notice I get no errors this time, did everything correctly. And I do believe I'm ready. Last chance, submit and lock. Now you'll see this is no longer active. I can return to the home screen. And now that I'm back at the home screen, I no longer have the option of submitting the February report, since it's locked now. But I can review it and print it. Review and print will allow you to print any of the months. I can review the distribution data. I can review the monthly data, or I can print and export. And there's a printout that would look what it would look like for a PDF file. Input data, note now they're all locked for February as well as they were for January. I could go ahead and enter March, except we'll pretend that March hasn't come yet, and they're available. And I'm pretty much done. A couple of notes. There is a help screen, a help link rather, that will take you to a file that will give you information of how to enter all this data, and just like I went through for the demonstration. Additionally, you'll see from the home screen, you'll see that there is a treatment report video, that demonstration that you can watch also, as well as the one you just did, the distribution report. I hope this was helpful to you, and enjoy. And if you have any questions, please contact your regional office representative. Thank you.